Yes? There it goes. Okay, now the sound's working. Haha. Forgot to flip a switch. Still doing some more setup here. Bear with me as we get this going. No, go away. Looks like I'm not the only one that went live. Haha. Oh wait, phone, go on do not disturb so I don't hear you chiming. Hey, the notification I want to see. Alright. So it's gonna be more ralt, it's gonna be more fun and games. Cool. It is working. Do. Oh yeah, I should just move you out of the way. And there, I do got water. Good. I have something to drink. Do. If you're curious about the music, it's Teknoaxe, the copyright-free music. Found this one called Title Sequence. There we are. Alright, now I need to bring up the chat. Alright, now I need to bring up... Oh, quiet you. I don't want to hear you. Oh, stream manager. Hope everyone's having a good night. And this is just annoying. Every time I start it, it says Pokemon Unite, yet Streamlabs is saying art. This is not synchronizing like it should be. Now it's changed to art. It is very annoying. But oh well, that is what it is. I'll have to figure out why that keeps occurring, but that's a whole different matter. Alright, I'm still working on the ralts. As a matter of fact, I even sidetracked myself. I started working more on the background, and then I started drawing a character instead of actually doing the background. See how much I don't like, my heart's not into backgrounds, but I know the necessity of a background because it really gives perspective on the whole picture. So treating it as secondary is not necessarily fair. It should be just as important as the main character in many ways. So I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna continue on. I'm gonna bench this character that I keep enjoying drawing for the time being. I'll continue on drawing trees and everything that fades off into the back. Now, like I've probably mentioned this before, backgrounds are not my strongest suit, which is why I'm trying to push myself to continue drawing them more and more and more. So, oh my goodness, where'd my drawing pen go? There it goes. I have my little hanger off to the side and I didn't even keep track of it. What's wrong with me? Do. Oh, yeah, let's get rid of these sticky notes. So I don't need them in the shot. Some notes about short 1-minute animations is all. Maybe something I can do on the do on Saturday morning. even though a lot of them are scary because it's Halloween season. I'm just gonna say it's Halloween season, so it's coming out, and I've been writing 1 minute scary shorts, so it's pretty cool. It would be nice to see him animated, but all I have right now is 60 words per, because it's about a word per second is what I'm generating the idea around. If it ends up being less than a minute, hopefully it can be 45 seconds to a minute in length, which is quite a decent amount. A full minute is actually quite a bit of animation. When you think of 24 frames per second and how many seconds are in every minute, that's quite a few frames worth. The only issue is trying to keep a steady pace within a minute. Actually, because a lot of them feel like they're probably about 2 minutes. Even though I wrote 60 words, it still feels like it's 2 minutes. Another way of thinking of it is every page of a script can be considered a minute's worth of time in animation, is another way to break it down. And in many cases, all of them are probably about more so 2-3 minutes if I base it off of that, because there's also all the action, there's all the any dialogue, which only happens in I think one of them, so all that fun junk. But yeah, come on in, let's sit down, let's draw some stuff, let's take a moment and just enjoy an evening of some Pokemon. Seems to be either I draw dogs or I draw Pokemon, so I guess Ralt is not a dog, so therefore I'm not taking a ladder on this one. I'm literally just going full into Pokemon. But I keep thinking about, for this trading card game contest art, is maybe I want to go with Arcanine, because Arcanine is really cool. There, I could just turn that on, because I am still grabbing things. I think I messed up something. Where am I? Okay, that's showing that. Okay. Good. Well, we'll see, because I do have multi-chat open, so I have Twitch one so I can delete anything that comes up, and same thing with because there's always probably at least once a week, so maybe I won't have anything to deal with on a Tuesday, so those little things. Of course, eventually I would also like to do a poll at some point during one of these, and when there's enough people to participate, and see about getting a nice little comic that's voted upon in the direction of where the story goes, and then possibly other aspects get voted upon, so it's community driven. But we need to build up a community before we get there, so that's one of the big things. I think I'm all set up. I don't need to do much else. Alright, I have my little reference card that I'm going to try to utilize to help me make the background. I'm going to try to do some painting of it. We'll see how far that goes. Like I've mentioned many times, backgrounds are not really my strong suit. Kayla and I kind of both have that feature. Is we like drawing our characters, but then putting them in an environment. It's like my character BoogieMan deals a lot in the darkness, so there's not very much not much need. See how I designed that to not have? Yeah, I'll have to change that though, because it's not very easy to animate a character when all there is just pure blackness around them all the time. It's like, there's not really much context of what's going on with that kind of thing. So I'll have to rethink some of the animations that I'm working on to get that character more involved in the actual stream. I'm not gonna make a VTube thing. Well, how about this? Not anytime soon. because the ideas I have are very ambitious and require a little bit of coding. So first, I have to create the 3D models for that kind of thing anyways. But alright, yeah. Oh, did I have... Maybe I did. Nope, I closed it. That was my problem. That's the thing that keeps sitting here. I was like, there's something else I thought. Which in this case... I have not seen Star Wars Visions, but I plan to be probably binge watching that in the next day or two. So I definitely want to see it. Because I believe it came out, there's news articles, pictures, Star Wars Visions, pictures Jedi through the lens of anime. Ramin Zahid published this on Animation Magazine, his own little article on it. It is it definitely sounds incredibly interesting. I've been watching stuff, of course, like trailers and everything leading up to it. I didn't know when it was released, but supposedly, actually, is it released? I guess I should be more. I want to say it is. It's been released for a while. Oh, wow, I'm really behind. I don't even. That makes me feel terrible. I haven't even. But seriously, how would I just look it up? Yeah, September 22nd. It just came out. Yeah, it just came out, so I'm not too late to this show. I just... And this is a re-release of the article about it. But, Oh, there it is. There's a disclaimer because it's also been written for the Animation Magazine number 314. So like the thing that I'm reading off on my other screen. Yeah, this is something I've really been looking forward to because I love Star Wars. It's always been one of my favorites. But I like Star Trek just as equally too. It's just they both itch a different thing because like when you think of Star Wars is more of like high sci-fi, like high fantasy within the sci-fi world, whereas for Star Trek is science fiction, sci-fi straight, and it's very much deals with more like politics, civilizations. Now of course with J.J. Abrams, when he took over the helm for making a lot of the newer Star Treks, he walked in with the inspiration of also the high action that Star Wars wants to generate when he developed his, from what he said in interviews and such. So that's he brought a lot more action into the more recent version of it, and they did a pretty darn good idea for the whole reset in time because the Star Trek's done a lot with time travel and utilizing that to kind of generate a whole different timeline, skewing the whole aspect of what could be with this new cast was a great idea. Don't get me wrong though, the original Kirk is definitely great. I definitely like more Spock. I think that's because of my own personality trait, really. But yes, alright, so yeah, I wasn't late. I thought for a second there was like, gosh, was that out already for a while? Like, no, it just came out yesterday, September 22nd, 2021. Jedi in anime form. Should be a lot of fun to see the characters. I'm wondering how many episodes. Disney has been known to release one every week. I don't know if they just push it all out at the end. But that is one of the things I get to figure out. I'll pull up my... It's not like I have to hit play. just out of my own curiosity. See how much I'm avoiding doing a background? I'll get sidetracked, sure. Yeah, it looks like they released all of them. There's 9 of them. All 15-minute to, or 14 minutes, the shortest one, to 23-minute long one. It's nice. So this very much has that very same feel as the Death, Love, and Robots. I feel like I'm getting that backwards in some way, but that series, which actually won quite a few awards, or at least one of them did, and that was Ice from the 2nd season. And then, of course, Primal, also from Cartoon Network, Adult Swim. They won quite a few. I think they won Best, whereas for like Best Animated Series, and Ice won it for Best Animated Short. So there's 2 different categories there. So instead of like all together, the Love, Death, and Robots being winning it all together as a series, the individual one won. Which reminds me very much of the Animatrix, which then we have the Matrix coming up here shortly in December. See, I'm gonna sit down and have to watch Animatrix again because I love the background. I loved how a lot of the animation was done for that. It was beautiful, and that's why I look forward to seeing the anime version of Star Wars. But I guess enough about that. I should move on into actually doing what I said I was gonna do, and that is working on this. As you can see, I got only so far with drawing the additional background piece, and then I went, oh, I like this character, and I want to draw this character. Don't know what I'm going to use the character for, but I could always animate something simple. It's just a good fun time, because I like doing cartoonish things, so exaggeration is key. Maybe I don't want to bring it up now. I'll possibly show it towards the end, saying, hey, look, this is a character I'm starting to draw. It was inspired by seeing somebody sing some of these. This is why I love going through Animation Magazine and reading some stuff. It's a good source of just inspiration on my own. So seeing some of the characters and then taking the designs, because in the end, nothing's truly original, and like that's one of the big things. One of my favorite actual comics was was artists throughout the ages. Is like then you saw like, was it modern day artists is like I'll never be the best, and then a previous era, this is it'll never be perfect, and then again another generation's worth of artists is saying that they're just never going to be, and then it goes back to a caveman and you go, I'm the best. Just absolutely perfect. It's like, because yeah, you're the very first. That's like, so again, one of the biggest things you can consider like nowadays, like even comes down to writings. Like there's no truly original ideas. It's just your take and rendition of it that makes it yours. Because we've been thinking and philosophizing about the same ideas and pushing the limits of things, which is what every generation gets to do. So you do end up taking things that you learned from previously, like your own history, your own other people's lives that that are involved with you, and whatever you read inspires your the next step. So don't ever think you're actually not doing something original, because nobody will ever express a story as you would, or express a piece of art as you would. And that's the difference. We all take something from the previous step and then regurgitate it as our own in a different form, different style, different method of process. So always feel inspired to just steal a little, but make sure you always put in a little bit more of your own into it. Because I mean, like, look at this. I'm drawing Pokemon. Somebody else designed them. I didn't. But I'm putting my own twist on it, which is, in this case, looks very much like like a Powerpuff Girls kind of mix with ralt. That's it. So Powerpuff Girl Ralt. So I'm trying to keep the balance of my my Pokemon here in some form. And right now he's got his leg. They got their leg kicked out. Their head is bounced over the one leg, and I could have them lean a little bit further harder because again I have the leg kicked out to kind of counterbalance the heaviness of the head, so they can lean further into it. But I really just wanted to focus on doing the background and possibly getting that painted in and started working on it. Yes, I'm going to try to see about painting it with, Krita. But, well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we get time for. I'm going to save what I have, too. But, so this is going to be the main focus. So working on this. Now again, like there is a contest come August. It's already passed. October 14th. I keep saying the 16th. October 14th. I have the dang thing up next to me right here. But yes, that's the main focus of what I'm drawing here, is to get more ideas down before October, when I can start submitting, and you can submit up to 3 different ones. So do consider that if you're going to do this. But it's for the trading card game. So remember, it's 1080 by 680. It should be your actual size of the art piece you're making. They don't want anything larger. So don't think that you have to. You can always double up that and then just draw what you want if you really want to in the end. I do have this set to like 1750 by was it 1300 or something like that, or like could be like 1280. But so it's a little bit larger, but the idea is that it's still relatively small. It's just an A6 setting in Krita. So eventually, like there's the idea of that there's that frame safe aspect, as I will crop into it a little bit to create the actual or just resize this, which can work out pretty well, because then I can take out ralt, put ralt back in, and then resize the background so it fits the size, and then ralt can be resized to it. That's always a possibility, again, when I get there. So it's a trial and error process, and which is why it's one of the things, like, best to start making mistakes now with a piece that I can't submit, because again, you cannot actually publish the work if you actually want to enter it into this, because they will end up doing it for the trading card game, and therefore it becomes their art if you win. If you don't win, then you can publish any which way you want. The artwork becomes your own again, and they will not get pissy about it. And this is all according to their FAQs, so if you really want to confirm it for yourself, then by all means, check it out. Right now, I'm trying to dictate where I want to see parts of the tree. Oop, I got that going in the wrong direction, because I'm trying to, again, I have this reference. I'm trying to get everything to curve inward around, as another means of framing ralt in the picture, is using the background to do it and help me with it. So that's another aspect of why, backgrounds can be very important, because they can help generate this kind of interest or a focal point for the whole piece. That is very that's just as important as the character itself. So this is why, again, I will say it might be my weak point, but I know the importance. I just typically don't give it the amount of time it needs to. I've never considered myself a background artist, but there's also the aspect is like, I could do. I really want to develop tools to make this a little bit easier on myself, and one of the things I know very well is 3D art from my degree. So I'm probably gonna have to sit my butt down and develop some assets that I can just generate a 3D background and then draw over the top. So essentially have some tree designs, variable few trees, some bush designs, but very much so also then be able to have a ground generator, a item, like things that can be just randomly generated for me, which is hence the reason why there's a lot of coding. If you want some procedural thing done, you have to sit there and code the possibility. And if I take the time and do that, then I could definitely offer that for so many other artists that say, I do not care to do backgrounds. I think that's one of my biggest goals, is just so I can do it for my own sake, to make it easier on me, and then who knows, either do them free or sell them, like, yeah, give you the whole thing free and maybe sell a tutorial on how to utilize them. But if you want to sit there and figure it out, you can go right ahead, because it's free to use. So I think that's one of the ideal things. The only problem is I know that a lot of times, and this is from what I've seen from a good friend's own work, is that they created an Epic, was it the Epic engine, a procedurally generated weapon system. And then, I think within the year, they saw somebody else selling the exact same thing. Selling it on the Epic. Even though it was being offered for free, they were doing a lot better, because they were also then utilizing some of those funds to advertise it. So, when you give out something free, there's always going to be somebody else that's going to try to exploit it, it feels, but that's why I said it's like, it'd be great if I generate tutorials that you end up paying for, but the tool itself is free. So I think that's ideally one of the things I want to work on. But we all have these big plans. I just need to sit and focus on it. Beyond my own ambitions of comics and animations, which I'm really thinking I'm going to focus on making those animated shorts. Those 1 minute animated shorts. So I should... Let me do the math real quick, because I can't do it in my head. So I'm going to pull up a calculator here. So if we're looking at a calculator, and we say that's 24 frames. So we have 24 frames per second. How many seconds there are? And I didn't mean that. And equals. So there's 60 seconds in a minute, so there's 1,440 frames to be drawn. Or essentially filled. Because one of the big things is using certain tools to probably bend and move. At the same time, I could be more conservative with the idea of I don't need to make that. I could do 15 frames per second, which is seen in a lot of claymation, times 60. And I significantly lower. So that's another possibility, is adopt more of a claymation kind of feel and style. So it will have that jittery jumpiness of sorts. But it's 900, which I definitely lose a good like 540 frames that have to be created in some form, either as a tween or as a... I'll just minimize that. Or in some aspect that it wants to be brought forward. So. So I'm trying to create some more background, in this case like trees and such, that a lot of these are kind of more of like a game aspect where it's very rigid in the design. And I'm making these secondary sections because these will be darker, and we'll see how much I utilize the painting aspect to keep either a solid edge or maybe blend the two together. I'm thinking more to the side of like of doing more kind of solid edge, because I might end up over blurring the whole background anyways, so it would be kind of pointless to blend all of the color in anyway when it comes out to being like, oh yeah, I'm generating this to be blurry anyways, so it falls away in the background. Maybe come over here and start working on some trees. So like I said, the background is a very big character that gets overseen by me personally. That's something I definitely have to steer away from, is not making them. Even though it'd be great, especially when it comes to some of the work I want to get done for like graphic novels and such, if I find somebody that wants to do or is very good with backgrounds. So I'm definitely more about the character designs, and I need to possibly bring out quite a bit of that. Maybe that's another whole stream, just me and characters that have been generated. This one is it in my I have a story that I think I've rewritten a few times now. That is very personal and so much glare. But it's unfortunately a lot of my stories have dark, but I plan on trying to make them more PG-13, so more people can enjoy it, instead of being excluded because it's mature. Even though, I myself am not that mature. So these are really just rough outlines of where I'd like to see the tree shapes. So I'm trying to layer a lot of this, get the idea of many parts of this is going to be hidden behind ralt, of course, but even though it might not be seen, we do want to make sure we get the parts in and out of it as best as possible. So there are some trees here and there. And we're just having fun drawing, making some of these lovely little trees here in the background here. Just giving more life to this whole overall piece. I think the main reason why I don't care for backgrounds because there's a lot of detail that has to go into it, and it is its own character with a multitude of characters because each tree is its own little character. It brings a little bit of a different form to share in this whole image. So I'm really just trying to break up that edge and be more, instead of being straight lines, because you know that's one thing you learn. Nothing is a straight line in nature, and if it is, it's most likely man-made. So don't allow things to look like as if they just what is it? As if they're straight edge. So even make sure that they're curved. Give them the character. Necessary. Just trying to make sure. Now here's even more. These get wispier. So the further away an object gets, the less saturation of color it has. This is one way of having it fade away into the background. So one aspect is definitely to allow a lot of this to fade. And like right now, this is going to be open sky. So I have that to generate in this. So I do have the foreground and more background. So this is essentially what I've created as my means of getting started. Let's copy them. We're gonna take them into their own little group. gonna collapse everything. That's what I'm end up gonna do. So this is again just an outline. All right. So the atmosphere. Yeah, darker color towards the bottom, lighter towards the top. So yes, make sure I lock that layer. Now this is now another aspect is definitely it's everywhere else. It's in the background. It's going to start with a base of black. Like I said, I'm not sure how much I'm going to blend these together. Could just go into the paint, start using these wet brushes. You know what? It's fine if I make mess ups now. It's not like I don't have a copy of this, because I could just be more straight edge and kind of draw in my like that, and kind of just paint the outlines. But that is one thing I'm not trying to do right away. We're trying to do base colors, which just makes me feel like, yeah, I should be fine just with my own ones I have. Of course, I do need to start blending. That already means I don't like the fact that I did this all too soon. So yep, we're making mistakes, and we're going through, and it's like, I don't like doing it this way. A lot of my backgrounds I've created for comics are very flat. They just need a hint that they're there. They don't need to be fully fleshed out, but enough to establish is how I've done it. Oh crap. And over to the just kind of lightly shifting the color. Now, of course, the smaller the pixel, the more I generate a more defining kind of aspect. It's much better to get everything and layer it, like draw the background stuff, get the background colors in. There's a lot of trees here, so, and then layer the other colors on top of it. So now this will be behind that. I do know that these are going to be lighter and darker. So right now I can start mixing in certain things. You want a deep green. If I do this, I'm just blocking over everything that I was doing. Am I already? Oh well, yeah. Because again, I'm blocking over the. Going for that perfect. Trying to figure out where I want the green exactly. So we'll get these base colors in. A lot of what you're seeing is I'm outlining where I want it to be. I feel like I want the bushes to be different color than the trees green, so the trees green is going to be this base darker set. Into the unknown. Eventually what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to use the fill tool. So I need to make sure I close off wherever I feel the green needs to go. And we'll draw on the bark. Now a lot of what's also going into the background is a much darker green, like almost pitch black green. We're going to start with this and lighten it up. Make sure all of it's closed. Simplify. Crap. Yeah, I should have known because I'm drawing on the same layer. Actually, now I'm curious. Will it? It'll probably still do the same thing. Yeah, it'll just fill in everything. All right. Well, if I want it to work the way I want it, I need to fill it myself, or I could use the selection tool. Yay! This will speed things up a bit. No, clean up by filling in whatever I missed. There we are. There we go. This speeds up a lot of coloring aspects is by being able to just grab the area. Which is why it was good that I... What is it? Got the section I wanted. Now what I'm gonna do... Create another layer. Turn you off. Fill it in. Turn it back on. This can help eliminate one little aspect that I've noticed with some of it, is that when you make a selection, you put in the same layer. A lot of times there's a little line, and I've dug into where I wanted the line to be, and it won't create a faint line where the selection is and the actual previous one is, where I've overlapped, or not overlapped. Erase tool, non-erase tool. So now I can just go and these little sections. And then collapse it down. So there we go. So now we got the tree. We got the sky already in the background. Now we can go through and do the same thing with the brown. These, how about we just do it again? Layer on top, but we're gonna fill in the space where the tree is. And eventually you'll see us blending all this together. Some form with other colors to give it shape and definition. Like I said, I still have the grass. It's down below. So this is going to be what I have. So yeah, I didn't do the selection even though I could have done the same thing. So again, my sketch behind this is more of a rough treatment of saying, yes, this is where I want these aspects to be. Now the green for the bushes will be a little bit more unsaturated and lighter color. Eventually I'll collapse these and just get them all on the same. I have more information on the outcome of this. I do have my hero bush right here, so this one is... got quite a few features about it, as a matter of fact. Let us... make it a lot easier, and we're just going to add... Nope, didn't mean to do that, but... just put that in. There we go. Since we're doing a fill for this, you can just make a lot of this easier just by doing the selection of the area I want to use. So like, so I know I'm going to be using all that. And then I'll have to draw some grass in front of this for the foreground. So yeah, quite a ways still to go. There we are. This. Did I? Oh, that's right, because I have an arm there that I never bothered to draw the sketch from, because ralt is technically right here in this whole big section. And I have berries also put in. Just kind of adding in. So then I can go through and I can either do this or paint bucket in. Clean up the edge. Because this is what happens. If you draw something and it has a feathered edge, it creates that. But there. And I do have the rolling hills also. That's going to be more of a brownish. Some more yellow. Kind of go with this pale green. So deselect that color. This is going to be everywhere else. Well, I know that's a portion of it, and I know we got a portion of it right here. I'm going to put this behind. Feel. Well, there is. I'm up in front of that exactly. There. And then parts of this. What do we got? Let's... use the fill again. So getting some more flats into this. Matter of fact, I do not know why I have that. Really shouldn't be able to see any of those. Not even say the same thing happened. Behind this, because really, you have more tree. Green back there. Actually comes down to really, we don't see any of these. This section, let's see, me and that. So it really is just going to be going to pitch black back there. So it really didn't need to do the certain aspects, because this is all going to be the tree line. That's where we're cutting off the sky from. That is. I didn't bother to put any clouds in this sky. I feel like I messed up what I wanted to do with this. And that's kind of the things I plan. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be making more of the mistakes. I was like, I know there's an order to it. I just don't do this often enough to keep it in my mind. You know what? Let's start it again. And this time, I think, let's just use the airbrush for what it is that I'm aiming for. So, got the sky up there. Tilt it. Now, if I'm trying to think, like, I know Bob Ross. Not personally, but I know the method of which is start at the back layer, so draw on your sky. It's kind of what I'm doing right now. And then we start building upon that. Because we got the foreground, which is this bush. We're not going to draw that yet. We have our trees to draw in over the top of this. We have some clouds that we need to put in there. I know that there's a brush I like to use. So we're going to go... Just getting some streaks in there. And as you can see, I'm using a wet brush, which is pulling some of the paint from below it to affect it. The harder I push, the more effect I should get. Now I'm trying to tap it to get more spongy effect. I don't know, it's definitely me just playing around with what I can do. Alright, now we want... I don't know if that's the right brush I want to be using. What brush can I change this to? Not quite the one either. Well, that's giving me more. More definition, which then I want to use. Like I said, this is becoming more of a play now. What brushes can help me generate a good looking clouds, which are random enough. Yeah, this might actually be a brush that's decent for it. Because I can layer a decent amount. Because I feel like I made the brush a little too big for... Well, this adds quite a wispiness. May have also overdone it on the amount. Clouds. Oh well. Yeah, I definitely overdid it with it. Well then, let's just go back a step. Go back to my original blue. Not the brush. Really want a big old brush that's like a... No, that's too much. And that's too big. It's not the same kind of brush. And It's not mixing. Yeah, that doesn't mix either. Ah. Hmm. Oops, not what I want. I want to be really just waving my arm pretty wildly here. Ah, oops. Actually, I want to use this one. Really just messing around with these paint tools in this. And the airbrush seems to be like the most I go to when it comes to a lot of this. Well, let's see if we can play around with not quite full wine, but darn near close to. I don't know, maybe I can use the knife tool. Alright, which is why we created a separate layer. So, where's the knife tool? There's the knife tool. So this doesn't want to add in the color I want to do. And this just rakes things. So I probably have to put it in subcapacity. Yeah. Now this I used on the Stella Vulpes, kind of, where I'd add in the color I wanted, and then use the knife tool, pull out aspects, and even cut into it. I felt it was too much. Now this is pretty handy when it comes to making a decent set of clouds. So this again is, I used a wet brush to just put some in, and then the knife tool works as a wet brush in its own case, but it just pushes colors. So wherever I tap is the color I'm going to be pushing over. So if I pull from here, I can put blue into it, or I can use the white. And as I do that, if I get right on the edge, I can get sharp edges and just kind of keep blending it out. Even move upward with it. And you can see part of it starts fading. Even create some wispy. Let's get further down. So again, I'll down some extra, get some heavier. So I can do the same thing, get some extra. So I'm putting down the color where I'm thinking I'd like to see it generate more thickness of the color. And then I'm going to use this to effectively pull it out. I was trying to see if I could do with other tools a fairly similar idea. But these two working together gives me the best results, really. It's really nice and easy to blend these two. Get more variation with these Krita tools and their wet brushes. So I will continue making some of this. Feel like I need a little bit, just, oops, back to this one and just downward. That's another portion. Then I can kind of do a little spin and kind of break up the edge, because I definitely want it to be more sporadic and not cleaned edged as much as it might look. So I'm really just working out getting a color blended. And again, this is just using Krita's wet tools. Give me these interesting looking clouds. So it's a set of two. Again, being this particular one, which is wet paint hard edge, to start off to put in the color. And then I'm using the actual blender knife edge to give me the nice long stratus kind of a, is it stratus? Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting. But get some of these wispy aspects. And just trying to make sure it's not a clean edge is one of my big things, but you can make a And make whatever kind of clouds you really want. It is a lot of fun to mess around with these tools. And like I said, I was trying to do other tools to see if I can get similar effects, but I can't get the effect that I want unless it's these. So yeah, you can see I'm spinning in certain areas more so to kind of pull and drag out the whole edge. And let's even, so you can see, to make sure it's not a perfect edge. Like I said, I can go in here and I can just go tap, 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 get some more color where I want. And then even add that too. It's a whole nother layer, because really, we're trying to add layer to give it depth. I think I can make a larger portion up here. So the lighter areas that I push, but I'm adding a lot of extra because this one is so much closer. It's going to be nice and thick. All right, so then slice back and forth to get the. So in Bob Ross's, he has a brush that he can just easily do this, that it has got multiple bristles. You go side and side. I'm mimicking that same effect here in Krita, but that's with 2 paint brushes. So you can see I can slice deep into it and then cut the color back out. Really just trying to play with it, because you really can't make too many mistakes. I can overthink a lot of things, which is why I'm a very critical artist about my own work. That I can have a tendency to overthink and go, I don't like that cloud. It's not perfect. Well, nothing's ever perfect. Heck, even again, Mother Nature is never really perfect. Except for it's in its own way when you think about it. When you're outside watching the sky. That's what I try to mimic. It's like, I want those clouds. But right, let's jumble it up a little bit, getting rid of some of the bit. And as you can see, that it really is kind of swooshing around and allowing to get a more of a fluff to the clouds. Because again, we don't want perfect edges. And this is just me spinning the brush in certain areas as I'm moving along. And that's to get the broken up edges. Essentially allowing it to be more of a interesting character. So again, I implore you, just utilize this if you end up using Krita. This is a great way to get clouds. And again, spin just to break up the edge. Just like that. I'm trying to spin. Now, what I'm also doing is, like, because how this knife works is that if you tap where you want, that's the color you're moving. So when you're doing this, I want to pull in more of the dark blue into this. So I'm starting off in the blue and then spinning into it. That way I can get that dark blue to come breaking in to it. And what it does is it blends and mixes the two and starts creating more of a darkened area into the whole portion. Now I can also pull from the white that I've added in and do the same thing, and then even along this edge where a slightly different color arrangement. Again, I'm just trying to make sure it doesn't look perfect. At the same time, it'll look perfect because I'm making it imperfect, right? Let's spin along that edge to break it. Let's pull in some of the color in there. Break up that. Roll some of the white into it. Let's get a nice little blending back and forth between them. So there we go, we got another cloud. And you know, why not just do one more? It's falling off the edge here. A little bit smaller. But there we go, and back to the knife tool. Slice in and out. Slice some darker blue into it. Some of the white. Back and forth, back and forth. Now, like I said, I don't do too much background. I just I know the ideas of what I want. I just don't practice them often enough. So again, spin, 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 spin. Break up the edge. I'll spin more of the dark blue into it. Ooh, that's a little bit more than I wanted. And then go in there and cut some of it where it's a little bit. Just break that up a little bit. Going in. Let's see these two break. I'm also trying to lightly push to get some of this. There we go. Spin, 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 spin. Spin that knife. Now this whole spinning aspect is not something you can get with your actual palette knife, but it's one of the beauties of this manipulating the digital aspect of things, getting that break up. So there we go. I added some clouds in. I don't know. Do I need? I probably need another one. Ah, gosh. Probably another small finish one, like right here. Just not too big. I don't want to. I try not to add too many. But maybe just another hint of one. These will be hidden behind the trees because as you can see, I'm drawing into the tree line here. Pull it out in a heavy way, and then really just cut it back by spinning into it. You palette knife and kind of come from underneath. Just really make a thinner one, and I'm going to do the same thing. Just I need to break this one up a bit more, I feel. And you. Now, of course, I could also change the brush size here. Let's see if we can get some nice little specialty sections which are kind of a hard edge, but just a little bit. So we do get those here and there. There, and even then, spend just a little bit on some of them, just because it's not gonna. I don't want to be absolute. Now, by using a smaller brush, I can get more finer detail, which gets these really interesting breakup of everything. As you can see, it kind of really messes with the edge. So using the bigger brushes, ideal for getting softer transitions than when you want more detailed. You want to make that brush smaller. That's pretty much what I'm doing right now as I draw these in. So I'm getting just a little bit extra detail out of it. Also spinning to really break up a lot of this even more so. Trying to pull the dark blue into it more and utilizing the white, not red. As you can see, I can overwork the crud out of this if I really wanted to, which I think it's about time that I back off of it. So I don't work it too much. So go back to a bigger brush and kind of even. So this is a really, really large brush to make sure I can get a little bit more blend. Maybe even some of this too. Minor adjustments. There. Like I said, I'm going to keep myself from overdoing it. So I'm going to draw over the top of that because we got this. Actually, ooh, look at that gray sky with the clouds. We got our clouds in. Now we can draw over the top of that. Trees, which I could do something similar, but I feel like I'm gonna do the should I do a selection airbrush in where I want it? Because I can draw in the trunks over the top of the green anyways. That's kind of what I'm gonna do with it, so I can just draw everything green and then start blending in the colors where I want them. 135. Well, I got about a half hour more, so let's see how much more we can get with the trees. So I like to keep it 2 hours, especially because the keep it a decent sleep schedule. What is that, sleep? So what method do I want to do the trees? I don't want to do it the same way because it works well for the clouds. The knife tool is very, very handy. But I need a brush to set down the color that I want first. You can see this is kind of almost generating exactly what I want to see along the edge. So we'll see how this works. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of very curious why that's allowing the clouds to come through so much right there. But this has already kind of generated a bit of the edge I want to see to break up the whole tree line. So we've already added that in, which is amazing that it was so quick and easy that way. So if we shrink up this brush and we go, hey, we're going to make it a little bit darker and saturated. We're now going to go in. Do it again. You can already see the kind of change occurring. So I've got a lot of darkness that comes out from. So we're avoiding the edge at the top. So we've got a lot more light that goes through there. Guess we're gonna go even one stage further. We're gonna just utilizing some of these brushes, especially this wet one that looks very, very good for what we're trying to do here, which is at trees and again, we have a lot of dark that we need to fill in. This definitely helps with that. So you can already see we got kind of a layers going on effect, which is spot on what I'm looking for. Now, a yellowish green. Let's see if we can go in. It's not quite working how I want. I think I need a different brush to go over the top of that. That way I can add in the kind of a yellowish highlight. Yeah, that's not quite working. Not quite. See, I might just have to throw it in and then do the darker colors yet again. Especially because I'm trying to add in a highlight aspect. So I will go through and so now I'm blending it back in the need to go to the really dark, kind of blend that back in. And these wet brushes kind of you pull from paint in where you're heavy and you start pulling it where you want it. So we're painting in, getting definitely want to get some of this. This definitely's got to creep a bit further because we need some variation even across the top. Because, you know, you do have portions that are just, even where there's that yellow, there's some portions that just come through as completely dark no matter what. And that's what we're adding in here. So we got that. So if we go through, let's find a brown we want to work with. Alright, so for this, I'm going to want a smaller brush to work with either way. I thought this one actually spun. I wonder if I broke that. Where's its rotation? Rotation, rotation, rotation. Let's see, tangent to the pressure. Nope. That's not. Wonder if it got changed in this. My goodness. Because it should follow. How does this one work? Tilt direction, elevation. Should move. I really do feel like this one was broken. Yeah, I think I broke it at some point and it got saved. Crud. Again, I'm using other brushes to fill what I'm aiming for. And we'll use another brush to cut in other aspects. Still using wet brushes. So we use the trying to break up the edge still, which we'll do with a lot more of the other tools we're going to use here. I do feel like I want to use, oh, much smaller than that though. So I want some of these edges to be clean, but at the same time, can't be completely clean. Especially the ones that are closer have the whole unique aspect of being kind of was it having a little bit more detail in this bark feature of drawing the texture into these. And yes, I am spinning my brush again to break up certain edges. Because I do have to make sure it's not completely. I'm taking a lot of liberties on some of this, trying to figure out what I want it to look like. Because some aspects this is going to be out of focus, no matter what I'm thinking. It's just because it's the background and I need ralt to be the highlight. Okay, so now we need to tap in the really dark colors. Just a lot to do towards the tops. And again, since we have the sky over here, we have a lot of shadows that go along the edge on the inside. In fact, most of these trees should just have a lot going on when it comes to the darkness. Yeah, so we got this on along the right side. Along the tree head. Practically are all. You got quite a bit yourself. You're very dark. Very, very dark. I do have some other trees, but I think I don't like where those are positioned, so I said I'm not going to do those. So again, let's go a little bit smaller. I'm slicing back and forth. Make sure I pull. I might use some lighter color just to get a better blend between everything, but for now, seems to be working out. It's allowing me to blend it in. Now this one, a big reason why I'm using a knife tool is because the bark is very, what is it? Has a lot of crevices, so I'm trying to work in and out kind of those features. The variation of the coloring. So as you can see, I'm trying to pull some of it even to where I have the lighter color. This way it's really allowing a decent amount of variation. And I think I might even do some pitch black, which I'll add in a little bit to really allow me to get some deeper grooves kind of designed into it. Now these ones are pretty much just where I need to make sure a lot of these have it's probably smaller. Oops. Much smaller details here and there. So it'll be a blending back and forth kind of deal, really. Going in and out with these. Do 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 do. Yeah. Gosh, even after the 2 hours, this is quite a number on my arm because the whole back and forth, real quick. Do like some of them, but I think, like I said, let's shrink this one up. So really dabbing in some pitch black, kind of give myself some other darker spots to work with. In particular, some of these trees are just really just gonna deal with that. Go down even further. Go in. And this allows me for even more variation of really the design of the bark. Grab it, pull it. So this is allowing me to get a little bit more detail. Really the darkest sections. So again, I'm using this knife tool to really give me the bark feature. By allowing myself to get longer strands, by grab where I want to pull the color outward. And get some really dark features across this bark. And you know, I'm gonna turn that off. Push up and in. And this is just to add a little bit more variation to the color. Like I said, some of these are actually just purely in the dark. I'm trying to keep a nice clean edge between these two trees. Into the tree line. Same thing with you, upward a little bit more. Make sure it gets into that tree. And then clean the edge. Really working this out. Like I said, this is usually one of the things that can kill my arm. It's going in and out, in and out, in and out. The knife tool really is try not to push too hard. So it's really the part that can kill your arm. It's a matter of going straight and not spinning the brush all too much. And then using enough pressure to let it know where I want that. As we can see, I am breaking this up pretty darn well, I feel. More than I usually would, but it's fun to change up things. Now there is one thing I forgot, because there is one. There we go. Use a knife. This. Now this is considered again like a hero tree because we get a very close-up, intimate look at it. All right, so now go into this. Go into this pitch black. Trying to add in a little bit here and there. Then back to the palette knife. A little bit smaller. We'll go cut it up and down, up and down, up and down. Again. Right now my knife is a little big, so I'm not getting the finer details, but I'm definitely blending some of these portions in and out. I'm gonna want quite a bit more black on that side. Smaller, we can get more detail, cuts, and information. This starts defining some of it. This should help support some of the deeper grooves. Letting me blend in. Get up against that edge. Just want to get enough in there. Might want to use a lighter brown to blend in over this, just to bring back some of the variation that's needed. Tap, tap, tap. I'm pulling. Allows me to lighten up some portions, which felt like they're getting a little too darkened. This is just me playing around, really, getting as best of a result as I feel I can get of what I want. Because after all, this is just the background. It's to help highlight ralt in the end, and this is what we've been spending the whole evening developing. It's the background for ralt. Now again, if I go smaller, I can get more finer detail, harder edges, and of course that might be a little too small. which is great for making it. This is a hard transition. This shows that the bark is here. This is very, I'd say in many ways, a good workout for your arm, but also very meditative. It's just to go in here and break up the edge. Now again, I'm using Krita, and this is a combination of their paint tools to get the result you're seeing here. Then I'm cutting in blank color to help define the edge a bit more. So if I turn off the overlay, we can kind of back up. So as you can see, we haven't even started the grass yet, which, my goodness, can I not? Yeah, that works. So we got our background, we got our clouds in, we got the tree line in, we now have the tree trunks, and then we have a few bushes, and then the actual grass. But I think I'm going to do the grass and then the bushes over the top of that, because we need now to work from the groundwork upward, and a lot of the hills are covering the bases of these trees. So given that, again, I'll go another layer. I kind of gone with this little light green, but I think I'm going to start with the more yellowish green, dark green. You know what? I think I will call it there. I will work more on the sketch drawing of ralt that fits this, and then we'll do more of this painting on Tuesday. So on Saturday, I'll do some more animation work with the webtoons and see if I can get a nice intro going on with at least the text design on that one. So we'll continue working with that. Now this, I'll have some special effects I also want to try to work in to kind of soften up aspects. But for the most part, we're on our way there. We're moving along, and it looks pretty darn good so far. So I'm very happy with the results. Again, these trees look close enough to trees. The one thing I'll have to do is another layer of the actual tree to kind of break up the edge of where this, because right now they're really hard edges, so I need to break that up a bit more with just like a dark heavy green like I have right around here, just dark green around there to kind of give more an idea. It's like, oh yeah, that's the full tree for that one, and we'll go from that. So again, I'll continue working on this. I'll probably continue working on this and then just show you like, hey, look, here's all the layers on Tuesday, but this determines my work schedule on things. So given that was that was a lot of fun. I hope you all had fun too. It especially late in the evening like this, it's very nice to just kind of have a moment and just relax, and especially doing something creative. For me, in the evening's good. If you're a morning person, by all means, start with something creative too, because you want to get those creative juices moving to allow yourself to some time to really think outside the box. And I think that's why it's very important that everyone has some creativity in their life, just because it helps you fulfill a little bit of an aspect of taking a moment and relaxing, calming down. Even if you don't like your art, it still can be rather relaxing to create something yourself. And it's And you know, it's something just for you. You don't have to make it for anyone else. And that's the bigger portion about art, is just, you know, really make it for you. And then if you feel like you want to show it off, then show it off. Which again, by all means. I would love to see everyone else's work out there too. If you have a chance, always, you know, direct message me, and we can you can always send it to me some way, or if you have any questions, by all means, please, you know, let me know. I'm available for any questions at all. Well, again, I'm very happy to you guys join me, so thank you. And what is it? Switch it there. So again, if you have any ideas yourself of what you want to do with the trading card game contest, and you just want to talk about it, that's another thing to bring up. So if you do like what you saw here, please hit a follow on Twitch, Facebook, or on YouTube. It greatly appreciates. It helps the whole channel become more discoverable. Y'all have a good evening. This is the BoogieMan, dancing on out of here. So I'll catch you critters later. Bye. Right there at the end, huh, Phoenix? Well, thank you for stopping on by, Phoenix. Nonetheless, I appreciate it.